Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is VIN0653, VIN653. This is a 2016 223, which is Caviar with LA20 black interior. So black on black at Copart in New Jersey here at the beginning of January 2026 with 126,000 miles. And it looks like it was a Florida car until 2022 and then in New Jersey since then. So the last 3 or 4 years it's been in New Jersey. It's at Copart, as I said, damage to the left rear door, quarter, bumper. It's a very expensive spot to repair, and that's likely why this car is here. The front bumper has some damage. It runs and drives, no airbags are deployed, and they do have a video that's provided showing that it's running and it sounds healthy. Production statistics, 448 out of the 2,347 cars were Caviar. 225 had black LA20 interior, 9.58%, so that's like a 2 or 3, probably like a 3 on the rarity scale. For 2016, 284 out of the 1,417 cars were Caviar, 148 had LA20 interior. Carfax, Epic VIN, Auto Check. Carfax, Epic VIN, and Auto Check. Carfax shows this as a 4-owner, 1 damage incident, not necessarily an accident, could be, on December 3rd, 2024, shows it as minor with no further details. Epic VIN shows this as a 4-owner, no accident car. And AutoCheck shows this as a 4-owner, 1 damage report on December 19th, 2025. That's probably this one. It shows it as a collision. But basically this looks like this is a 4-owner, 1 accident, and 1 additional damage reported car. But this accident is likely what totaled it. Previous sales, December of 2015, $87,000 in Florida, and it sold in January 2016, so for sale less than a month. Not very common for these cars to sell this quickly. Usually they sat around for several months, if not a year or longer. January of 2017, it was for sale $65,000 with 10,500 miles in Florida at a Mercedes dealer, and it sold in under 2 months. June of 2021, $44,000 with 80,000 miles in Florida at Auto Nation. It looks like it's still all completely stock there. August of 2022, $46,000 with 86,500 miles in New Jersey, and it now has the blue calipers, the exhaust, it's lowered, black wheels, chrome delete, has the intake elbow. So basically all the mods have been on this car when it got to New Jersey. So now onto the photos. Obviously it has a few mods on it. It's lowered, as I said, it's got black wheels, chrome delete, blue calipers, exhaust, intake elbow, pretty standard mods that you see on these cars. Really for 126,000 miles, it doesn't look bad at all, but it could have suspension and or frame damage too, because there are a few that I've covered last year that it didn't look like much. And this one's kind of that way where you can see the damage around the wheel well. The quarter panel is extremely expensive to repair, but if the suspension was pushed in, that is a cast aluminum rear carrier subframe, but where it attaches to the actual unibody has these long studs that come down, and if that's pushed, it can either bend those or it can bend the frame that way. So it's very fragile on those corners. So if there's any impact at all, it can really mess things up, and could be a lot of potential hidden damage here. So overall, it really looks in pretty good shape. The photos aren't the highest of quality, but I think that the bones are there as long as there's no further hidden damage. So that brings me to the price. They disclosed on this sale that the insurance paid out $39,433 for this car. If this car was clean, retail ready, 2016 with 126,000 miles, it'd probably be like upper 30s, maybe $40,000 if it's extremely clean. You can factor in the mods or whatever. They don't really add any value on these cars unless they're really high-end stuff. So yeah, the owner got about $40,000 for this car, and that's probably where it should be retail ready. So now, if it ends up with a salvage title, we don't know yet. It's still got a waiting title, which means that they probably had a lien holder to pay off, and then they're waiting to get the title from them. The price looks about right. So the damage to repair this, one of the other ones that I did last year had similar damage in similar location. The estimate to repair that one was like $28,000. And this looks kind of along those lines too. There's actually 2 of them that I can remember. One of them was the one that was the Nebula Gray Pearl that was involved in the high-speed car chase. It was a hit and run. Both of that one and another one that I did, they had the very similar damage, and they were both considered a total loss as well. So this is along those lines No, except this has a whole lot more miles on it. So let's say you fix the damage on this car. This car with 126,000 miles should be like upper 20s to maybe like $30,000. The cars that have been rebuilt and sold last year, 2025 and 2024, they all kind of have around 100,000 miles, and they all sold around 28 to up to $32,000 for the lower mile examples. But those were light front end hits, which again, the headlights and the grille basically total these cars. And so I think that those were, you didn't have any hesitation on buying those. When you have stuff like this, you really have to make sure it's repaired correctly. Otherwise, you're going to have constant issues with tire wear, weird creaks, weird noises, if the spot welds weren't done right, things like that. So there is a lot that you need to look into for repairing this car, or is it going to be a parts car? If you are going to bid on this, you probably need to get this car in like the upper teens to lower 20s at most in order to leave any significant room for profit if you're going to do this to fix and sell. If you're going to do this to fix and drive, try to use some used parts, things like that, but you can't really go out and buy a used quarter panel, but you can get used suspension bits and things like that, save you a little bit of money. But I think that you would have to get this car cheap enough for it to make any sense, because the floor on these cars is basically somewhere around $20,000 for a parts car. This car as a parts car is worth significantly more than $20,000 for parts. The drivetrain, the seats, this car doesn't have deployed airbags, the carbon fiber trim, the stereo head unit, the rear tail lights. There's so many valuable parts on these cars. That's why there's so many that are stolen too. But these cars are valuable as parts cars, and the supply is going to continue to dwindle, and the parts are going to become more valuable over time. This car is probably worthy of rebuilding it and getting a rebuilt title, getting it back on the road. However, it has to be cheap enough. Otherwise, it's a parts car. Service history. This car's pretty well serviced. There's also a significant number of independent mechanic services too, but overall very well serviced. Several oil changes and over a dozen wheel repairs, and that's probably, when you buy these cars, they offer you the wheel protection, and that's probably what it is. If it even had a little scratch or something, they just said go ahead and refinish it. The first entry of note is January of 2018. At 25,000 miles, they noted that the lowering springs were causing issues and causing noises. So this car's been lowered for a significant amount of time. January of 2018, also the low pressure fuel pump was reprogrammed, common issue. So the humming or buzzing in the back seat, that's resolved. May of 2018, the JLB recall was done. That's the high pressure fuel pumps. So that's done. August of 2018, the water pump was leaking and it was replaced at 35,000 miles. I have seen a few of these on the service histories where the water pump starts leaking from the weep hole. Not very common. Usually you wait until these cars have 100,000+ miles until you start seeing things like that. October of 2019, the KLG was done. That is the GPS location. Like if you're on the main road, it shows you off to the side road or something like that, or it's sluggish to respond. This resolves that. January of 2021, the front tires were noted as having inner edge wear, probably because this car's lowered and it probably doesn't have adjustable arms or adjustable links, anything like that. Maybe it does, but probably doesn't, and you're just going through a lot of tires. July of 2021, AutoNation in prep for sale. Install the OEM wheels, remove the aftermarket wheels, dent repair, 4 new tire pressure sensors, and they repaired the OEM wheels as well. So they're basically returning it to stock-ish as much as they could before they put it up for sale. July of 2021, a new drive belt and a new right front door lock actuator. Not uncommon to see. A month later, August of 2021, the left front door lock actuator was replaced. So this car has both front door lock actuators replaced. Good to see, so you won't have to spend $400 each side to do that. July of 2023, a trim panel underneath the car was dragging, maybe the splash shield, and it was replaced. November of 2023, 101,000 miles, they noted that there was a high-pitched creaking noise while idling. They replaced both high-pressure fuel pumps and 7 hours of labor, which seems pretty excessive. That was easily like a $4,000+ fix, probably under the extended warranty that it had if it still had coverage. But that was a complaint on this car. This car is on its third set of high-pressure fuel pumps. One was the JLB recall. One, they were replaced for this same type of reason by the previous owner. They make this like chirping noise, and it doesn't sound natural to hear, but they're mechanical fuel pump, and they're noisy. They make that kind of noise, but they replaced it under warranty here. So this car has brand new high pressure fuel pumps as well. October of 2024, 112,000 miles, oil change, and that was the last Lexus service. And there's several services at like tire places for oil changes, alignments, and especially brakes. So pretty well sorted and pretty well serviced. What's not done? Didn't see the 60,000 mile service done. 120,000 mile service is coming soon once you get it back on the road. The valley plate, don't see where the valley plate has been or resealed, but it may have been done at a third party, may be leaking, may not be done yet. Carbon fiber trim obviously still has issues. Front lower control arm bushings, if they haven't been upgraded, but this car being lowered, make sure you have adjustable suspension links, otherwise you're going to continue to have tire wear. The ZLZ, the in-service date on this car is January 30th, 2016, so it would only be covered until January 30th, 2026. So in a couple more weeks, this car will be out of coverage for the dash, the ZLZ replacement. However, if this car ends up with a salvage title, it is not eligible. So that's one thing that Lexus does specifically state, that these cars, if they are salvage title, rebuilt title, they are no longer eligible for the coverage under the ZLZ. So I think that may be what's going to go on here. And then the other thing, this car being in New Jersey, I would check for rust. So finally, would I buy this car? I think this car deserves to be put back on the road. It's well sorted. It's got some miles on it. It would be a great driver quality car, you know, kind of value be damned. Go fix it, go drive it, put 400,000 miles on this car. They're amazing cars for highway cruisers, daily drivers, and I think this one deserves to be saved. But the big gotcha would be, does this car have frame damage? Does it have any further suspension damage underneath? Anything like that. You can get a door pretty easily. It's the same door as a regular GS. The quarter panel is too. The bumper, you know, you've got some repair to do. But if you're good at body work, then this may be the car for you, but it's got great bones otherwise. So anyway, that's what I've got for you guys. VIN 653. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.